I've spoken many times in the past about riders who often focus on the wrong parts of their riding as they work to make improvements. In this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on the importance of the various skills that make up performance riding to help give you a little more direction as you're searching for your next avenue for progress as a learning rider. Before we get into the skills, I just wanted to stress that this is by no means a categorical order you must follow. Different teachers and coaches will likely have differing views on what's more important for starters, and also the importance could change depending on the rider, where their current weaknesses lie and the extent of those weaknesses. And lastly, the benefits of certain skills shine more when other skills are learned first, creating a sort of chicken and egg scenario. So while I will be taking you through this list in order of importance, use it as a guide within the context of your own riding, where you're most experiencing frustration and where you can see that you're furthest away from an ideal fundamental application. Okay, onto the first and what I believe to be the most important skill, vision. The reason I put visual skill as number one is because of the overall impact it has on your riding. Good visual skill will benefit you in all areas around the track. Things like braking effort, entry speed, lines, steering, throttle control, exit drive, consistency, and composure are all positively impacted by good visual skill. Now, in order to actually improve in all of those areas, then the specific skills need to be practiced and improved first. But without good visual skill, there'll be a limit to just how far you can go with them. So for those reasons, visual skill is number one on my list. At number two, steering. By steering, I mean becoming conscious of not only how you steer the bike itself, but learning how different approaches to steering can help or hinder the corner in question, meaning where you steer and how quickly you steer. Once you gain control of your steering, you can open up options for the approaches you take for each corner and the lines you carry through them. It also directly opens the door for both higher entry speeds and exit speeds. Entry speeds from a quicker rate of steering or by choosing a line that allows trail braking, and exit speed by changing your angle of approach to the apex, which allows for a greater drive out of the corner. And once again, there's also that layer of safety that comes from being more able to confidently put the bike where you want it to be, a valuable skill when mistakes are made and time and attention is limited. Up next at number three, throttle control. Following in a very close third, we have throttle control. Good throttle control is as much about safety as it is time saved. In the middle of the corner, good throttle control and throttle timing leaves you with a stable and balanced bike that stays on the line you want. As you transition to corner exit, good throttle control ensures that the weight is transferred to the rear more gradually for a smoother and more progressive drive out. This improves traction, means you're sitting more within the limits, and as an added bonus will likely mean more miles out of each rear tyre too. Yes, good throttle control will gain you speed in the middle of some corners and out of most exits, but just as important as that is the benefits that come in the way of bike stability and all the positive things that brings to the table as you make the transition to the throttle. Now, really this could have been second or third. From a safety standpoint, it'll be second for many riders, but being that poor lines created by steering can have a big knock-on effect to your throttle control efforts, I feel that steering should be there first as it enables good and consistent throttle control as well as drive out of corners. Number four, braking. Learning how to correctly brake gives huge benefits in the way of time saved, along with how we're able to prepare for corner entry. In big braking zones in particular, as you learn about correct braking structure and then get more confident using more braking potential, you'll make huge leaps in terms of how confidently you can drive down the straights towards the point where you want to begin braking. And you'll also greatly shorten your braking zones simply because you don't need them to be as drawn out as before. This means big time saved. Braking is also a key part of a good corner entry because we're using the brakes to set our speed for the approaching corner. Spend too long setting that speed by drawing out your braking effort and you'll lose time. On the other end of that scale, you can try to do too much in the braking zone, mainly by braking later or overly attacking the corner to the point where it costs you entry speed and composure, and this will likely spoil your exit line too. The reason this is number four is because I feel you need to have the other parts of your riding working well to really maximize corner entry, the main things being vision and steering. And finally, five, body position. Body position is an important part of being a good track rider. Let me say that right at the top. And with body position, there are 3 ideals we're looking to hit. They are the ability to offset lean angle with the body so that we're using less lean angle for a given speed, the ability to free up the front end with a loose grip so that we can let it do its job, along with allowing you a greater level of control of it, and finally, to be able to reach a comfortable position on the bike that doesn't hold you back as you work to do what you're supposed to be doing out there. These are all important things we want to have in place when riding. All of that said, the reason it sits so far down this list is because, in terms of increasing your level of speed and safety in track riding, for the vast majority of riders learning out there, everything I've covered to this point will bring greater benefits. Now, if your body position is way off the mark, then it is going to become a higher priority, and for that matter that goes for any skill here. But in my experience, riders are perhaps a little too eager to start working on or continue working on their body position to see improvements, when they would likely see more substantial and beneficial improvements elsewhere. For that reason, body position sits at number 5. Okay, I actually have one last area I want to talk about here. It's not quite as literal as the previous skills, and perhaps not really in this order, but rather it's a trait that you should be looking to add to your riding arsenal and something that you should be working to improve across everything you do on the track over time. And that is being smooth and consistent. Contrary to many riders' opinions, being a fast rider isn't about being all-out aggressive. This view probably isn't helped by the introduction of riders like Marc Marquez in MotoGP, who appear to be on the ragged edge at every single moment. Now, it goes without saying that he clearly gets the job done, but on the flip side of that coin we have riders like Andrea Dovizioso, Valentino Rossi, and the man probably on the top of the smooth and consistent pile, Jorge Lorenzo. Being smooth like these riders is a style that is a lot more achievable for the budding performance rider, and one that is going to be safer because you're more in control and not relying on bucket loads of talent to keep a bucking and twisting motorcycle in good contact with the ground. The best way to think of what you're trying to achieve when being smooth is how your inputs affect the bike. The use of every control and every body movement puts various forces through it and alters weight distribution and stability. Over time, the fidelity with which you can use each control and move your body around must be worked on and improved in order to keep the bike more happy, but also to set a platform to reach for higher levels moving forward. To be quick, it's about working with the bike, not fighting against it. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our list. Have a good look at your riding and honestly answer which areas are most lacking. Use the thoughts I've just offered to come to a more sensible conclusion about what you need to work on next. Approaching rider development like this is likely to bring you more suitable and substantial progress in a shorter space of time. What skills do you find to be lacking in your riding, and do you think that you've maybe been focusing on the wrong ones? Tell us about it in the comments down below. And as always, if you like the video, then please hit the button and subscribe to the channel for more performance riding advice and guides moving forward. Take care.